YouTube, it's Bunny Ears here, and I am back with a review on I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. So I picked up this book at Barnes & Noble one day with my best friend Leslie. Hi Leslie. I was treating her to a gift for her birthday because we were at Barnes & Noble and I was celebrating her birthday already, so I decided to buy her a book. And in the midst of her finding a book that she wanted, she chose The Nest, which is a good book. She picked up this book. She said it sounded very interesting. And I'm a lover of psychological thrillers, and when I picked this one up, I've never heard this one before, and so I decided I'll buy it for myself. Although I already have so many books, I don't actually need to be continuing buying new books. I just actually bought a box of books from Book Outlet, so I have a problem. I got a book addiction. But, yeah. So here's a review on I'm Thinking of Ending Things. So here's the thing, I was putting off this whole review because I hadn't yet collected my thoughts on the subject of it. The ending of this book, I feel like endings in books really much tell about how the story went and how the story really was, if that makes any sense. Basically, psychological thrillers, the ending tells a lot. You know, in Gone Girl, we find out blank. In Girl the Train, we find out blank, without giving any spoilers, of course. And basically, this ending was so out there that I just hadn't had my own thought put together quite yet. But I had time to think about it. And this book is, in a sense, a lot of a psychological thriller. We have a point of view of this woman who is thinking about ending things with her boyfriend. All in the midst of this, she's taking a drive with her boyfriend all the way to his parents' house. And on this road trip, we are bombarded with thoughts of conversation, just basically deep conversation, and every once in a while we'll have a break in the thought processing of something in the future. I found that was really interesting. However, during the whole car ride, the conversations this couple had were very out there for a conversation. Don't get me wrong, I do like meaningful conversations, deep conversations you have at 3 in the morning for, you know, stargazing and stuff. But to have a continuous conversation of just basically a conversation of thought vomiting, I just felt like that was so unrealistic. It kind of turned me off at some points. I liked the topics, I liked the thought processing. I thought it was very interesting, the deep conversation they were having. At one point they talked about a lamb and like farm animals and connecting that to people's life. I thought that was really fascinating. At the same time, it was kind of knowing how unreal it was to just have a continuous thought process throughout the whole book. Does that make sense? I mean, basically in conversations that I don't feel like would really happen in road trips. I feel like conversation is like talking about your friends, family, how you're feeling lately, you know, road trip talk, like that, and eventually get to like deep conversation. Like, do you believe in aliens? Wow, the universe is so big, this is so crazy. But to have just a whole thing of deep conversation thinking, just thought plunking, it's just unrealistic, guys. I just don't think that's a real thing. Like I said, I really appreciate some of it, but it made me stop and think about this book, and some of the dialogue did make me stop reading this to actually think about what's being said and connect it to my life and ponder the meanings. I did like that, but at the same time, like I said, it really wasn't realistic for me. And as we get into the farmhouse, of course, things start to happen. I'm not going to do any spoilers because it's a spoiler-free review, but I felt like the whole book was just, again, thought plunking. It's a very small book. It goes really fast, but it's in 5 hours or less. I think it's an interesting read. However, I do find it kind of confusing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I understand what the author was going for in this book, and I appreciate it, but I felt like it was poorly executed. I think if anyone else besides me who doesn't read psychological thrillers would pick up this book and probably be really confused, honestly, because the ending was kind of confusing for me. There is a website to go to after read this book. It's called After the End, where people who read this book have discussed their feelings in the matter. But I mean, I don't know, if you didn't connect to that website and you have the plans for it, I don't think you'd really get much out of it. I'm sorry, even then I don't think you get much out of it. I feel like there wasn't much discussion as it was planned for. Overall, though, I thought it was a very interesting read. I do feel like it was very individualistic. I like the premise. I thought it really captivated my attention because it said, I'm thinking of ending things. It basically says right here, I'm thinking of ending things. Once this thought arrives, it stays, it sticks, it lingers. It's always there, always. Jake once said, sometimes a thought is closer to truth, to reality, than action. You can say anything, you can do anything, but you can't fake a thought. And here's what I'm thinking, I don't want to be here. That alone was the reason why I purchased this book. I mean, Leslie did pick this up off the shelf and say it sounded interesting, of course, but that just really captured my attention. I just wanted to read this as soon as I bought it. I did that. The day I bought this, I read this 5 hours straight. Now I'm done with it. I don't know if I rate it probably 3 stars just because, like I said, it's very confusing. I don't think it's realistic. I think if people don't have a backstory psychological thrillers or even just understand what's happening, I don't think most people would understand what's happening or what happened in this book. So, I mean, it was a good read. I pick it up in the future, but it wasn't my favorite. Yeah, I'm excited to say. I mean, I had very high hopes for this because it sounded really good. I didn't read anyone's review on this book, and I didn't hear about this at all on BookTube or anything, so I just didn't know what to expect. I definitely was unexpectedly surprised. Let me know if you read this book before or you considered picking it up. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter if you have read this book. I think it'd be something that could just discuss with someone else. I don't think that I'll get much out of it without talking about it with anyone else, though. But yeah, thank you for tuning in for this video. I will see you soon. Bye.